Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. For anyone that's new here, my name's OwenAlec, and on this channel I do everything drum related. That includes drum covers, tutorials, gear reviews, tips and advice, just like this one. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please do consider subscribing, hit the like button, all that good stuff, because it really helps the channel. Thank you very much. So today in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 tips on how to stand out as a drummer. But be sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to give you an extra bonus tip that'll definitely take it to the next level. So these tips are definitely going to help whether or not you're looking to just get into a band or if you're looking to become a session drummer. So pretty much whichever avenue you decide to go down, you're going to be working with other people and other musicians. And these tips are going to really help kind of make the whole thing a little bit smoother and also give you the best chance of getting ahead of everyone else. So let's kick this off with tip number 1, work on your craft. It might seem like an obvious one, but unfortunately there are a lot of drummers out there at the moment and they're all competing to get jobs and things like that. So if you can work on your craft and be a better drummer than the next person, you're more likely to get more jobs. Equally, if you're in a band and you're looking to come up with new material, then any extra ideas that someone else hasn't necessarily come up with will go a long way in that creative process. The better you can play and the more diverse your bag of tricks is, the more likely you are to get more jobs because you're going to get recommended by more and more people. In this way, you're making more of an investment in yourself. You're becoming the best drummer that you can be and therefore opening yourself up to far more jobs, far more genres, and a much wider variety of musicians that you can work with. So tip number 2 is to find your niche. Now what I mean by that is that every drummer out there has their own way of doing things, their own sound, their own techniques. And this is something that you really need to focus on and develop. So firstly, think of the kind of genre that you want to go into initially, whether or not that's metal or if it's just regular rock or you want gospel music or jazz, whatever it might be. Think about the kind of genre that you want first and then develop it from there. There's nothing wrong with taking inspiration from other drummers, either in that genre or taking inspiration from someone that's completely out of that genre and then bringing it into that genre. But find the kind of things that stand out to you and then put your own spin on them. Develop them in a way that it makes it more comfortable for you, or you kind of develop your own imagination with it. So taking a regular beat and then just adding in certain things that other people might not normally do. And then from there, you can start to develop your own niche, your specific sound that other people will hear eventually and kind of go, I know exactly who that is, and people will start to recognize your work immediately. Tip number 3 is to not worry about gear in the beginning. Now, the reason why I say don't worry about it in the beginning is because no one's expecting you to have the most amazing gear and the most amazing sound right away. They're more interested in your playing. So that's what brings you back to number 1 about honing your craft. Let your drumming and your talents and your personality do the talking in the beginning. That way you're going to get more jobs and you can then earn more money and then you can buy better gear and work your way up that way. Having all the gear and no idea is just so detrimental when it comes to being either a session player or in a band, because people aren't interested necessarily in what gear you have. They're more interested in you and what you can do and your talents and what you're going to bring to the table. Tip number 4 is to check your ego. Nobody wants to work with someone who's constantly stroking their own ego or shouting their own praises. There's already going to be enough ego in the room with the singer, so you're going to have to tone it down a little bit. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a bit of confidence and a bit of self-belief in your playing and know the things that you can do and what you can't do, but have some humility about it. And when you're presented with a piece of music, learn it the best you can. Don't go in there saying, oh, I absolutely smashed it, it was easy, it was the best thing I've ever played. It doesn't really come across very good and not very professional either. I have worked with some people before where their egos kind of run them, and they are very difficult to work with because they think that they're right with everything and they'll do a take of whatever instrument it is. When you get to the end of the take, you're kind of thinking, no, that's not very good, but they think it's the best thing ever. And again, the entire process from start to finish becomes much more tiresome and far more unproductive. So having some humility, getting your head down, get the work done, but also have fun at the same time is crucial when it comes to working with other people. Tip number 5 is to build your portfolio. And this is exactly what I started doing 4-5 years ago with my YouTube channel. It's very difficult to put a website together and just have a few clips there and for people to really understand what kind of drummer you are. So when I started my channel, it was initially to A, have a bit of fun, B, put some tutorials up there so that my students that I was teaching at the time could refer back to those. And then I wanted to put up some drum covers as well to kind of broaden my horizons a little bit. If there was a band that was interested maybe in auditioning me, I can then put it out to them and say, this is what I can do, this is the type of level of drummer that I am. If this is what you're looking for, then great, let's hook up and let's get something done. If not, then no problem, no hard feelings. Video portfolios, or CVs, whichever one you want to call it, are becoming far more popular now because people can really get a good feel as to what it is that they're looking at. If you've got great audio and great video, then it's even better. So I would highly recommend starting up your own YouTube channel. You don't necessarily have to put the videos to public so that everyone can see them. If you've got a little bit of anxiety, just leave the videos as unlisted, and then if a band approaches you wanting to see your portfolio, you can then send them the link and only they can see it. Or if you are going for a job, you can then send that link in advance and then you've already got a foot in the door. Tip number 6 is to promote yourself. It's no good doing all this work and then nobody sees it. So the best way of promoting yourself, I find, is through social media. It is quite saturated obviously at the moment, but the best way of doing it that I've found is to get yourself in some groups that are to do with your niche. So if you're a metal drummer, it's no good putting your videos and your sound into a jazz drummers club. It doesn't really make sense. Create your own professional pages on places like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, however many other platforms there are out there, Reddit, whichever ones you're most familiar with. And then hopefully one of them might start taking off and you can start then to put a little bit more effort and time and money into that particular platform. Also, when you're out and about, there's no reason why you can't just bob in a couple of either rehearsal studios, recording studios, anything like that, music shops, and just sort of leave your card and just say, look, if anyone comes in and says, I'm in a need for a session drummer, or my band's looking for a resident drummer, you know, full-time gig, they've got your number there, and then they can pass it on and then they can take a look at your portfolio. But I found the best way of promoting yourself is actually by word of mouth. If you've got some friends that are in bands and they know of other people that are in the same sort of circles, you can then ask them to pass on your information to other people. And if you then start becoming recommended to other people, that is so valuable in the music scene. I've actually had a few auditions or actual studio sessions as a session drummer through word of mouth. It's just people have just tagged me in a particular post, someone's looking for something, and I've replied to it. They've seen my channel and then they've gone, right, this is the guy for us. I go up to whatever studio that they're in, play all the tracks that they need me to do, and I get paid at the end of it. And then they've recommended me to other people, and then the cycle just starts again. There are more ways of promoting yourself. Maybe I'll do a full video on that at some point in the future. Let me know in the comment sections below if that's something that you'd be interested in. And now for the bonus tip. This is actually something that I got from a drummer when I was at the Manchester Drum Show a fair few years back. And I was listening to a drummer called Robin Guy, and he was saying that when he was starting off his kind of drumming career and wanted to be a session drummer, he wasn't choosy with the jobs that he got. If a punk band came over to him and said, we're in need of a drummer for this recording session, can you do it? He'd be like, yes. It didn't really matter what kind of time frame or anything like that. He just said yes and then worried about the details further down the line. The mentality on this is that the more bands that you say yes to, the more people you're going to work with, therefore the more people you get to know in that industry, and then from there it can just kind of branch off, and the more people that are going to get recommended, and so on and so on. Now, of course, this is a very fast track way of burning out, and you know, obviously we don't want that to happen. So when I say yes to everybody, make sure that you are working within your means. If you've got a day job, make sure that that's not getting interrupted. If you've got a family, make sure that they're not getting interrupted. But if you've got space in your life to maybe take the weekends off and you can go up to a studio in wherever town and record someone's album. It's a great way of doing it. You can earn a little bit of extra money on the side, and then, like I said, you get recommended then to do more work. And then when you become a lot more experienced and you've got a really good reputation that you're sitting on, you can then start to be a little bit more choosy about the gigs that you do. Whether or not it's, you know, a particular genre that you're more interested in, that you don't really want to do jazz anymore, you want to stick to the metal, or vice versa. You have the options then to accept or refuse gigs that suit you. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have got something out of it. Let me know in the comment sections below. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.